Hello, Neopians. Today we are going to do something very fun, um, which we haven't done in a while, which is make a tier list. But instead of ranking maybe every Neopet or maybe characters, we're going to be ranking the Neopian lands, the lands that make up Neopia. Um, And yeah, I'm excited to do because I mean, we don't have the Altador Cup this year, so we don't have the official competition where they have to duke it out. So I think what I am going to take into account before I do this tier list is the nostalgia of the world. So, maybe some of the newer worlds are already at a disadvantage. The worlds, involvement in maybe like lore or, whether that was through plots or other things on site, the aesthetic of the world and how I personally am attached or not attached to it. And, also a little bit the world's relevance in terms of gameplay, mostly your dailies, I'd say, perhaps. And again, I'm trying to. This is done semi spontaneously, but I've done some preparation. I don't want. In my initial pass, I kind of put so many things in S tier, so I've put some limits. Okay, there will be 5 things max in S tier, 5 things in A tier, and so on. I think I have 24 lands and mini worlds as well in total. So one will have 4. So don't be offended if something is ranked B or C. It's, the cream of the crop needs to be at the top. Not everything can get the S rating in this list. So if we go to, we're going to use my art layout. Oh, tier list advice. So this is the tier list I made. So, we got all of our lands. It didn't do it in alphabetical order. I think I have New Faerieland and Old Faerieland as separate. But in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see the list, throughout the video. But as we go through each world, I am going to show you like the little Neopedia article on the world. So let's get that going. Oh, here we go. So starting off, we've got Altador. We're going to go alphabetically, I guess. Alphabetically. And okay. So, hey, Altador, iconic. I think when I was younger, playing on the site, Altador was like the newest world. It debuted with that plot where we learned about the 12 heroes of Altador. It kind of was a prelude to the Darkest Fairy, video game, given that the Darkest Fairy was kind of a hero of Altador at one point, or, the traitor, traitors. And I believe this was the first world on the other side of Neopia, which, there was at first we just had that flat map and everyone kind of wondered what was on the other side. A thing that I remember is that it debuted kind of with the Altador Cup or after the plot was done, the Altador Cup initiated, which debuted with the World Cup in 2006. And this was like the first World Cup I could remember as a young adult, a kid, a tween. And I remember that World Cup because Trinidad and Tobago, where my family is from, was in the World Cup that year, and they were the smallest country to ever compete in the World Cup. And when they qualified, I was in Trinidad, and they had it began a week of holidays, national holidays and stuff. So I don't know, something about that time and the World Cup running concurrently with the Altador Cup was just kind of peak Neopets, in my opinion. This world, needless to say, is rich with its attachment to lore. Again, there's the Altador plot, there's the 12 heroes, and all of the lore for each of those individuals as well. You got the archives keeper, that crazy Lenny. I think the fact that the plot is something that you can do on your own time means that everyone that kind of comes to the site, like, that is a piece of content that people enjoy. Even with the new, the current plot, the newest plot, The Void Within, the War Room is based there. So, it's still relevant to this day. In terms of like actually navigating the map and there being like content, I guess you have the pet shop, I don't know. There isn't much there. But it's not like they've been making any updates to any of the maps in a long time, adding new shops, etc. So, hey, we're going to initiate this list, and we are going to place Altador in the S tier. I think it belongs there. Just so you can see S tier. Hey, so first one, we've already got one of our S spots occupied, but again, we've gone through them. We we know which ones are going to be putting in that spot. So, okay, next world, done with Altador. Moving on to Brightvale. Okay, Brightvale, the land ran by Mr. Smarty Pants. Hopefully that poem gets into the poetry contest sometime. But Brightvale is the rival to Meridell. King Hagen is King Skarl's brother. They hate each other. Whereas King Skarl is like a stupid oaf. King Hagen is really smart. But they both have huge egos, as big as their bellies. And there's definitely a lot of intrigue to Brightvale. It's got this rich culture of like knowledge and learning. It was featured definitely in the Darkest Fairy video game, which I remember. And even in the Void Within plot, it's, the Battle of Brightvale is the first skirmish with the Voidling. So, it's not, it stands on its own compared to Meridell. But, if I'm going to take Meridell over Brightvale in terms of the ranking of its crucial nature to Neopia, I'm going to have to put Brightvale lower. And in fact, I'm going to give Brightvale a B plus. Oh, no. I'm not giving it a B plus. I'm giving it a C. I'm giving it a C, which is the same as all of the grades that King Hagen has been giving me for my wisdom that I've been trying to share with him for the Avatar for years. Okay, so I think the C is a fair grade. And before we actually place it in that thing, I'm just going to scroll through this Neopedia article, because obviously we come here for the Wheel of Knowledge. If you're still spinning that, I don't do that anymore. You do come here to speak to King Hagen for that other Avatar. There are some interesting shops. There's that, like the Brightvale Glaziers, the Motory, books, fruits, armory, etc. In terms of characters, Roberta is here, who was featured a lot in the Darkest Fairy plot. So hey, it's got stuff to it, but if I'm going to take one medieval themed land over the other, I mean, Meridell is pretty iconic. So in terms of our rankings, okay, where is Brightvale? Brightvale's in the C tier. I mean, it's competitive. We got a lot of icons to choose from. Okay, so now we are back. What is our next land? Okay, Dacardia, the newest land, the newest Ultra Cup team as well. Dacardia is basically a land that serves a purpose, in my opinion, which is meant, for the mobile game. Because of that, there's a lot of different physical features, you could say. Right now we're on the beach area. It looks like there's kind of a crystal themed area, some sort of mountainous themed area, etc. There's nothing really distinct about Dacardia. It doesn't really have its own aesthetic. There does seem to be like a Dacardia color that the like Dacardia UU ball team wears, which is kind of cool. It's kind of all swirly, etc. But again, in the mobile space, Dacardia is kind of supposed to be like a catch-all of all of Neopia in a way, right? So, while it is fun to help, Lania and her crabby bots rebuild Dacardia, I am going to have to place Dacardia, and I'm not sorry about this, into the F tier. Where are you? I mean, just look at its little thing on the map, right? It's not even. I hope I'm not the only one that feels this way. And if so, if other people disagree, then that means that Tales of Dacardia is fun. And try writing a post on the Reddit about that. Okay, Dacardia is done. Like, it's like Krabby Bots. That's Dacardia, right? Like, I like the character. I like Lania. I like Ariel, right? But do I like the place? No. Okay, next we've got the Dargan Citadel. There is a lot of passion about this one. Dargan Citadel being this kind of floating fortress that hangs above Meridell. It's got this kind of macabre aesthetic. It's technically a mini world, but feels like a full world. It's rich with, its own aesthetic, its place in the lore, especially with the two Meridell plots, invasion and fight for Meridell. Iconic characters: Lord Cass, Lord Dargan, Master Vex, that Grawl guy, anyone, on the map, even. There's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, okay? But cell block, you got to play that for the avatar. Pet Arena used to be a thing I definitely did as a kid. For a mini world, technically, right? The Citadel is like top tier. I originally had this in my S tier, but due to crowding, this does not mean I don't side with them like the Amanda Files. I'm sympathetic. But I put them in A tier. But if there were more spaces, they could have been in S tier. Also, the UU ball team, they won the second time. So, I'll tell you which land I was on the team of later on. But when my team faltered, I joined Dargan. So, you could say I'm a simp. Wait, let me just show you. Okay, there we go. Dargan A. Okay, next world is Faerieland, and I have New Faerieland and Old Faerieland as two different places. And maybe we'll start with Old Faerieland and look. I remember this Old Faerieland and the clouds, the old fairies. But then I think they switched them up pretty quickly. No. Oh, that's when the Cydrix Gaze came. To this, which was like, they just redid it like this, and then they had to destroy everything, right? There's so much to do in Faerieland. So many core things to do. There's Jadora's Cloud. Healing Springs, I go to every day. Rainbow Fountain, who doesn't like to go there? It means you can change your pet's color. Wheel of Excitement. The Poogle races as a kid were like so cool to do. There's the Hidden Tower, obviously. So, there's a lot. It scores high in terms of the usefulness. In terms of characters, obviously got Fiora, Judora. You've got the Fountain Fairy, Naya, I believe is her name. So, we got icons. And then Faerieland fell from the sky. And this was around the time I stopped playing, I think, because it like disappeared and then fell. And I was literally like, that's so stupid. Fairyland belongs in the sky. It's like, purple, bouncy, beautiful pink clouds, right? Like, and so they rebuilt Fairyland, New Fairyland on the ground. And, it's still got all of its usefulness and it still looks great, right? It still looks nice. But at the same time, make Fairyland great again. So I'm gonna rank these separately actually. And let me just remember where I put them. I think this will be a yeah. Okay. It shall be done. Old Fairyland is S tier. New Fairyland is C tier. I said it. Moving on, I think we have a mini world. Yeah, we have Geraptiku, which doesn't even have a goddamn page. Just zooming in this thing. I remember when they revealed this place. I thought super intriguing. It's kind of this lost city with kind of an Amazon Aztec sort of vibe to it. Technically ruled by pets. It's got the deserted tomb, that daily, but it doesn't have anything much else, and it hasn't even been really discussed in anything related to lore at all. So, without much to go on, I think it's obvious where we are going to place this. And this is our second entrant. Where is it? Into the F tier. But if they did something with it, it could be really awesome. That's for sure. So, what is next? Oh, okay. Icon, the Haunted Woods. I mean, just look at how much stuff there is to do in the Haunted Woods. Like literally look at this map. It's so crowded. And then there's another map. There's a deserted fairground because there wasn't enough. And you can go to Neovia, which has its own place in the rankings as well. Okay. But, in terms of like dailies and things to do, there's the Braintree and Esophager. There's Edna's quests. The games are also really awesome, like Majax Destroyer, The Castle of Elivthade, Evil Death. And then in the fairgrounds, there's like those games that rob you, Test Your Strength, Bagatelle, etc. The scratch cards. Sorry if that hurt anyone's ears. But then there's the game Graveyard, right? The Haunted Woods won the first Altador Cup. Am I crazy? Right? They won the first one. People like the spooky ooky, right? And I mean, has the Haunted Woods been... Oh, okay, there was the Tale of Woe plot, which was kind of more of a Neovia plot than the Haunted Woods. So, I mean, there's still even more that they can add. And even as such, there are still so many interesting characters here. And I think there's only one proper place to place the Haunted Woods. And that is it this one? The S tier. We've used 3 of our 5 S tier slots, but we're being deliberate about this, believe it or not. Okay, so Jelly World. Jelly World doesn't exist. So, it's going to be difficult to rate this, but funnest secret to learn on site as a kid, like, oh, have you heard of Jelly World? fun game. There isn't much here, but the two games they have, Bouncy Supreme and Jelly Blobs of Doom, fun. Jelly Foods. Jelly Foods. It would be cool if they had some sort of plot that involved Jelly World. There was like this recognition of it somehow. Could be kind of cool. But we're gonna be reasonable in our rankings here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Jelly World. Oh no. I think I messed it up. But hey, I guess we'll just rate it. My rating for Jelly World. Did I leave it off? Was originally B tier, but due to space issues, it is at the top of the C tier. Okay, so it is above Faerieland in my opinion, and it's above Brightvale. It could basically be in B tier, but we're gonna be reasonable. Okay. Oh no, I got my tabs mixed up. There we go. Okay, Kiko Lake. Okay, there's only one, again, there's one thing to say, which nothing really needs to be said, but we got to drain this lake, and there's only one place that this abomination belongs in, which is F tier. And maybe it's like, what are you even gonna do? Okay, Kiko Pop. People hate. I hate that sound. That sound that comes on. Okay. What even goes on here? What goes on here? Kiko Lake Carpentry, expensive stamp, glass bottom boat tours. 2025, right? It was cool when you could figure out you could click on that spot on the map. That's for sure. And I did like the idea that there's like worlds just for a certain type of pet in a way, like Rue Island. But Kiko Lake's nothing compared to Rue Island. Next, okay, we've got Krawk Island. Okay, the land of everything piratey. This is also where everyone gets rich because of the food club. You got the Swashbucklers Academy where you could train your pets when they're, especially when you're early on. And I guess there's the Smuggler's Cove, which doesn't do anything. So, hey, I used to love the Pirates of the Caribbean. My aunt bought me the Pirates of the Caribbean DVD, and I watched that thing like every day for like 6 months, and I think I had a crush on Captain Jack Sparrow. But the Krawk Island to me doesn't hold a space in my heart that's that loved. But I do recognize that it's got a lot of creativity in there. It's, so many storytelling contests are written about stuff that happens down there. The beginning of the Curse of Maraqua plot, I guess they meet there, right? Jacques, a hottie, a Neopian hottie. So we are going to reasonably put Krawk Island in the B tier, right? B. Wow, that's our first B. Surprising. Okay. Kreludor. Okay, I remember like as a kid looking at the map, and when I found out they could put new worlds, I was like, ooh, okay, what on this map? The moon of Neopia was just this like object of fixation. I think like on the boards, there would be people who would like wonder what the next world could be. Um, but again, since the plot happened, and there was the plot where they freed the Grundos under the tyranny of Dr. Sloth. That was super cool, super interesting. But in terms of the map, I mean, it's been the same thing ever since it debuted. There's been this Kreludor Mining Corp like thing that doesn't do anything. It's been there the whole time. You do have the Neocola machine in Booktastic Books, right? That's one of the most popular shops there is. I guess it's the home of the Grundos. The colors are the orange with purple spots, purple with orange spots, I guess, right? In terms of the aesthetic. Um, uh, so, we chose. It would be cool if they added more, right? Add more, then you get higher score. It rhymes, right? So we're putting in the B tier. And, no regrets. Okay. Ooh, we got a good one next. Oh, I wonder what I rated this one. Okay, we got the Lost Desert. We got the Lost Desert, okay? The Lost Desert is like so awesome in my opinion. I think it was like one of the discovered with that plot and Brucey B and the coin or whatever. Home of so many icons, King Coltzan, Daddy. So many reasons to go, praying to King Coltzan, Daddy. Fruit Machine is another thing. The shops are super interesting. I think the city of Sakmet, it feels like you're in a lived space in Neopia. There have been two plots. The second plot I think you can do at any time too. So this is a world that feels like really bustling with life to me. I think the desert color is super cool. Um, it would be a UU ball team and an Ultra Cup team I would maybe join if I wasn't a devout fan of the one I do like. And so I was close to putting this in S tier, but I came to reasoning and I believe it belongs in the A tier. Ooh. So next, okay, we've got the infamous Lutari Island, which I think has been a horrible idea from the beginning. I guess it kind of fills the world that Dacardia fills now, which is, for the mobile space. But I mean, the idea of what they were doing with it, which locked the Lutari pet there, right? And that was kind of inaccessible for such a long time outside of like Lutari Day. Nobody can go there. Nobody can actually see what it's like, right? It's just covered in fog. It occupies a space on the map. Did we need another island? We already had Mystery Island, right? And the color, the Lutari color, is kind of more problematic. Yeah. Borrows more deeply from cultures like Polynesian, maybe some native Caribbean culture. It didn't date well at the time. It definitely doesn't date well now. It would be cool if they opened it up though, which they haven't. And I think, all things considered, I would only want to go just to go, right? Because that's like someplace in the world. But this is an F tier. We got another F tier in the house. Joining the club, the Kiko Lake and Dacardia and Geraptiku. Okay, enough of that. We're on Maraqua. Maraqua. One of my favorite worlds. I just remember the whirlpools on the map, and then I found out that used to be a world that got destroyed in Neopia. I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy. But I loved fish as a kid. I don't know why. I had a fish tank and then I went fishing and I found out the hook hurts the fish and then I stopped. I hated that, but I still liked the fish. And the color is like one of the best colors. So many Moroccan pets are like must have, right? Um, there are things to do. There you could go to the kelp. You know, you could go to the kelp. The seashell shop is a popular shop. You got. I mean, it's the home of King Kelp Beard, the most famous koi in Neopia. Iska and Kalis are pretty dope too. You had the statue in the ruins. You had the statue of the Darkest Fairy with that amulet on her neck, and then it disappeared. Everyone's like, "What's this mean?" Then the video game came out. The plot is like top, top. I mean, there are so many of the plots that are top, but it's top, okay. And Maraqua, Maraqua. We are placing Maraqua A tier, reasonable. If there was more to do there and it was more connected to like gameplay or something, I would have put it S tier. But I just think like aesthetically and lore wise, top, top. How many times can I say that? Okay. Oh, ooh. We got Meridell. Okay, we got Meridell. And I think that like this is the world that a lot of people think of when they think of Neopets, right? Like I think the most people were joining the site at the time of the war, plot number 2 or something. The invasion of Meridell. They even had that avatar you could get if you joined that month or something. There's so many things to do. You got Illusin's Glade, Cheese Roller, Termaculus, Kiss the Mortog if you're going for the trophy. There's a lot of shops that are useful. Mary Foods has Drake eggs. You Old Pet Pets has some cool pet pets. In Mary Acres Farm, you can pick your own, etc. And then obviously King Scarl and the Grumpy Old King is there. So many iconic characters come from here. Again, Illusin and King Scarl, but you have Jaren, Leisha, Kayla and Morris and Boris. um, but and you can play Escape from Meridell Castle and get that avatar. I mean, it was featured in the game, the video game, The Darkest Fairy, as well. Whether you are Team Dargan or Team Meridell, it's hard to deny that Meridell belongs in the S tier of Neopian lands. Sorry, not sorry. So there we go, Meridell. Okay, now we have Moltara, which is like Neopia's subterranean land. It's on the other side of Neopia. It was discovered when I wasn't playing the game. And so when I came back and saw it, I was like, oh, this steampunky kind of world. It kind of reminded me of something in like The Matrix 2 or 3. It's got a really cool look. I mean, you got the magma pool and finding out your time, especially when you're like a poor Neopian that can't get a paintbrush. It's kind of like a cool thing to do. Cogstogs might be the most popular store because it sells wearables, perhaps, in Neopia. That being said, oh yeah, and you have the kind of more magma looking place. I don't have any attachment to this place. I mean, the plot that debuted it was something I didn't participate in. I guess, Roxton is attached to that. But I do respect its uniqueness, and as such, I have placed Moltara. Ooh. Okay, don't hate me. As the C tier. Also, they didn't win a single UU ball matchup ever until this year, so I don't think they're popular really with anyone. Okay, moving on. Mystery Island. Okay, we've got Mystery Island. And I think when I was a kid, because of my Caribbean heritage, I liked Mystery Island. I was like, ooh, I feel seen. Now as an adult, I'm kind of like, oh, they kind of did that. Okay, Tombola guy. Okay, there's a lot to do. Tombola guy, kitchen quests, the training schools. Okay, trading post is based there. We've got Juita, the cooking pot fairy. Um, oh, and you got those like mystic haikus or something every single day. You go on a tiki tour. You got your mystic like little reading or something. I and the island color was my favorite color as a kid, but my taste was not refined then, I guess. Um, so we have given Mystery Island a reasonable grade, and it joins Moltara. Where is it? In the C tier. I think the island aesthetic was like big in the 2000s, and that never. That's one of the things 20 years ago that doesn't carry on. Neopia Central. Okay. Neopia Central. Oh, where did I? Oh, right. Okay, Neopia Central. I mean, this is where like your childhood imagination goes like, right? Like it's just you got this huge rainbow on the map. You got the rainbow pool. You got the money tree. You got the pet shop. You got the post office, stamps, Calvaro's magic shop. This big burger with the food, right? Like the Neo Lodge. I mean, there's so much to do, and at some points there was all those ads with McDonald's. McDonald's. Sponsored. Just kidding. Um, you could go to the bazaar. Oh, you could get to the soup fairy, right? Eat your free soup for your pets because they couldn't be hungry. And there's so much to do in the marketplace and the bazaar. The wishing well. Do I think it's just kind of quintessential Neopets aesthetic, right? You can't have Neopia without Neopia Central. And with that being true, we have our final S tier. So we are filled up on the S tier. Spoiler. We we have our limit of 5. Okay. So done with that one. And now we are going to go to Neopia's Dreary Land. It's technically a mini world. Debuted with the Tale of Woe plot. The gray color isn't related to Neovia, but I'd say this is the land of gray, right? And I'm down to be, I think any Neopian is a little gray from time to time. Or more than time. But I think, and for the few stores it has, it's got this wearable store, Prig Pants, Swathy, and Taylor's. The printing press, which has some relevant books. Oh, it's got that daily, the apple bobbing. I mean, there's, for what it's got, there's a grave danger, right? There's a high percentage of things that are actually relevant to what you are doing in Neovia. And as a result, I have ranked Neovia. Oh, did I just... No. Wait, where did Neovia go? Oh, okay. I took the Neovia on the map and I put it in the... Okay, Neovia's B tier. Haunted Woods goes there. Yeah, I did that wrong. Well, there you have it. Qasala. Right, that's the next one. So Qasala in the second plot in the Lost Desert is when this world debuted. It's not super differentiated from the Lost Desert. It's just kind of like another rival city kingdom in a way. The plot was a little bit like Aladdin, if I'm not mistaken. It's got cool characters, Jazan and Nabil. Um, and I guess, the shops and mystical surroundings is popular. Words of antiquity as well. Qasala is just kind of like a lesser version of the Lost Desert in my eyes. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. And as a result, oh, it didn't matter. I am putting Qasala in the C tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 things in the C. Maybe I messed one thing up. Oh. No. I mean, if I can bump up Jelly World, I might. Let's just do it. Okay. Okay. Rue Island. Ruligan. An OG Ruligan. First Altador Cup. I was Team Ruligan. We made it to the semifinals against all odds. I think we start out losing a lot and then we won, barely qualified. We had all these upsets in the bracket. Almost pulled it off and we didn't. And then winning in year 3, making the final in year 2, it was just like the best journey of the mini worlds. I think this is the best mini world. I would love to rate it S tier, but I'm going to be reasonable for you guys. I like how it is this land of whimsy. It also has the spooky Count Von Rue base there. All the creative contests, which are my favorite part of the site, are housed there now, like the art gallery, storytelling contest, poetry contest, etc. King Rue, Team Darugan. I think it goes without saying. I just got to confirm that I put this where I put it. Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm going to go a little off script. And I'm going to put... Oh, phew, I found it. Rue Island where I want to put it. A tier. Woo. Okay, so now we got Shenku, and this is a world. I remember the Sire Drake's Gaze plot slash kind of mini plot. You had to kind of guess these things. I missed out on the first round. I was kind of detached from it because it felt like I couldn't participate. I don't know if I saw this plot till its end. I definitely did, because Chef Bonju in that avatar that no one was able to figure out for years until I came back and someone figured it out. I think aesthetically, I really like Shenku. I think it's like a real top tier place in that way. In terms of its attachment to lore, there's something there, not super much. And in terms of its relatedness to gameplay, I guess there's the Lunar Temple. There's Godori, which downgrades it in my eyes. You got some cool pets in the pet shop there. One of my first art gallery prizes was one of those pets that's in the stamp. It was like 10 million. I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. So Shenku, Shenku. I'm putting that in the B tier. Okay, now seeing Jelly World next to it, I feel like I just insulted Shenku, but there's tiers in the tiers. Okay. We're almost at the end, I think. We've got Neopia's Wintry Land, Terror Mountain, one of the OGs. It was through Terror Mountain in a crack in the ice that Tyrannia is discovered, interestingly enough. So it's also like the land of like winter holiday. So, the advent calendar's home, scratch guard, kiosk, You've got some games like the ice cream machine, etc. The snowagers here. You got the toy repair on the top of the mountain, and you got the snow fairies quest, etc. My birthday's in the wintertime, and I think as a kid I felt attached to this place because of my winter birthday for some reason. Um, I don't know. I think as I've grown older, this land has felt a little bit kind of basic to me in terms of its aesthetic. But it definitely has one, and it's definitely useful, like the place and the things that are there. It was featured in the Hannah and the Ice Caves plot, I believe. The ice color, the ice bory. I have an ice bory. Um, so I ranked it reasonably. I actually ranked it higher than how I feel about it. Because maybe I feel like it's B tier, but I put it in the A tier because I mean, the whole month of December is about it. You know, I mean the month of giving, winter spirit. Um, okay, and then we have Tyrannia, which again was discovered through a crack in the ice, and I think was the feature of the first plot in Neopia. Was this war over Tyrannia, and the Battle Dome debuted or something? People had to defeat all of these rounds of monsters, etc. And and yeah, so you got the two areas. You've got the kind of jungly area on the kind of you know sea level area, and then you have the plateau. Um, the shops here, like Tyranian weaponry, was super. I used to restock there. The turned tooth, leading up to the plot, that was my financial plan. The wheel of mediocrity. I like mediocrity. You have the wheel of monotony, which I hate. The omelet is something when you mention Neopets to people, they mention, oh, the omelet, right? The concert hall is actually pretty cool. Um, and you have the whole obelisk situation. Is it my like Tyrannian color is pretty dope? Is it one of my top lands? Personally, no. But again, there's a respect I have for Tyrannia and its place in Neopia, and I am putting it in the A tier. So even though I counted how many lands are going to be in each place, I think we've gone off at this point. But we are at our final land, which is the Virtupets space station, which is ruled by the evil Dr. Sloth, whose signature I got at Booktastic Books the other day. I'm kidding. Um, okay, the space station, Neopia's spacey land, robot pets are there, Grundos are there. You can adopt a Grundo there. Um, it's kind of cool, but I don't think it's ever really brought me there for anything. Like, just like looking. Like there was the Lever of Doom thing, which I hated. I don't care for any of the shops. Space pets. It's there. Neopia wouldn't be Neopia without that like thing hanging in the sky, right? Like, it's definitely there. It's definitely there. Um, but I am gonna have to put in the B tier. Like Dr. Sloth is more important to me than the Virtupets space station, I think. Um, so well, I guess there we have it. We have our rankings. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you. Does that help? In the S tier, we have Altador, Faerieland, Old Faerieland, Haunted Woods, Meridell, and Neopia Central. I think those are like quintessential lands in terms of aesthetic, function, lore, etc. A tier, just a little bit, a step below, we got the Dargan Citadel, Lost Desert, Maraqua, Rue Island, Terror Mountain and Tyrannia. And in the B tier, Krawk Island, Kreludor, Neovia, Jelly World, Does It Exist, Shanku, and Virtupets. And the C tier, we got Brightvale, New Faerieland, Moltara, Mystery Island, Qasala. And then in the F tier, we have Dacardia, Geraptiku, Kiko Lake, and Lutari Island. So, hey, I am wondering what lands are your favorite and why. Feel free to agree or disagree with these rankings. This whole exercise was honestly just so fun, and revisiting all of these worlds and, what makes them stick out of my mind was certainly a fun exercise. So, again, if you like this type of content, feel free to comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, toodles. Bye.